Looking for your next night out in Worcester? Tee Up Taproom is the place to be. With 5 golf simulator bays, more than 20 dartboards, a full bar and kitchen, and leagues for both golf and darts running year-round, Tee Up is the go-to spot for competition and community. Swing by Tee Up Taproom at 70 James Street in Worcester and see why it's the city's home for golf, darts, and good times.
Looks like Joe is getting things going here for us. He's going to be leading off here in this bull-off. We're going to see him jump straight into the pool. Goes a little wide, so Mike, opportunity now to lead off. This would be critical for Mike if you can just get that little bit of confidence. Start off on the right foot. And looks like, wow, there's no better way to start off than that. That thing has got to be dead center in there, folks. My goodness. Mike Carignan coming out, finding the center of the board, and he will be leading off here tonight, Week 7, Season 3. This is our last regular season night here before the big one, the playoffs. These guys certainly want to go into that with all the momentum that they can possibly get tonight. Solid ton there from Mike Carignan leading off here with an excellent score. Wonderful stuff. And if everybody who's tuning in tonight, certainly give these guys a lot of praise in the coming days. They've battled it out immensely. So much pressure here these past couple of weeks, but they've given us an excellent show. So if you see him, say hi, say congrats, and cheer him on next week. My goodness. Joe Ricard, excellent follow there with the 97. What can Mike Carignan do to follow up with that? Certainly don't want to. Well, it's already a little bit awkward now because whenever you lead off with a solid ton plus, just above 100, even at 100, you certainly don't want to follow up with 28. It's a real momentum killer there, and Carignan will try and recoup. And Joe will look to do some serious damage here, but it looks like those first two darts are just wide, and looks like poor second visit from both gentlemen here. Why hit a round of 9 when you can hit the big round of 7 there? Mike, of course, getting off with, getting away with one there. Getting off with the big ton, certainly wants to try and get back to the opening ways. Solid third dart there. Great visit from Carignan to really save it. And Joe looking to try and keep pace now. Needs 97 just to keep pace with Carignan. Wants to certainly pass that. First dart just a little high. My goodness. Second dart again goes a little wide. So first game of the night. Calibration needed from both guys as they get the radar dishes dialed in. And Carignan already leading off with a pretty strong first 9 here. 67 average. May not be enough to get the job done against Joe once he starts to get his arm going, but certainly good to have your neck out in front in the first leg of this set. Joe finally finding the red bit there. Is he going to be able to fill this up? 2 in there, Joe. Oh, third dart just goes high. That would have been a spectacular 180, but the 140 does put him out in front. Mike Carignan, 257 now. Really can't afford to have a poor visit. Needs to try and keep it steady. Needs to get down to an out first, and that second dart is going to be beautiful in the mind of Mike Carignan. No, he can't follow it. Might have been a little defensive action there from the flights, but the 81 will bring him close, but not close enough to have a sniff and an out. First dart just to the left here for Joe Ricard. Second dart finds that big correction. He will be going downstairs, and he finds the big correction downstairs. Joe Ricard, excellent visit there. After a little bit of a slow start, he's certainly picked up the pace. And now Carignan more or less has to hit a ton 40. Put some pressure on Joe Ricard here. That's a great guide. Wants to drop it a little lower. Looking for the ton now. Can't quite find the ton, so 116 remaining. It's certainly pressure, but is it enough pressure? Going to have to find out. Joe Ricard is able to take this in 3. 72 remaining across to 12. Can't grab it, so 60 remaining now. Can only set up, and he will leave himself 40. Mike Carignan will be focusing up here, trying to find 116 ton plus take here in the opening leg of this game. First dart is found, so 16s, or he can stay if he wants to. Finds the 16 very close, double 20. And he drops that third dart well low. The grimace on the face of Carignan. He knew how close that was. Great bid, great effort. But now Joe Ricard Double 20 has been so friendly to him the entire season. Going across now to double 10. And he finds it with that second dart. So Carignan did very well to have a look at that 116, but Joe was able to clean up. And he is now getting going here, 75.15 average. Carignan, no slouch either with the 68.71, but you really do feel that if you're not at least above a 70 average against Joe, Tom, Ron, these guys in the top three, you're going to be in for a real rough time here. And Carignan doing very well to follow this opening visit from Joe Ricard. Wants the big ton 40, only able to find 95, so not a bad follow. Of course, Joe with the slight advantage, finding that big ton off the rip, And Joe Ricard continuing to find that first start. 2 in there. Are we going to see the big fill? Come on. Big 180 there from Joe Ricard. Solid darts there. And when you talk about pressure, doesn't get any better than that. Big 180. Carignan more or less has to follow with the ton 40 if he wants to even keep pace. Able to find that correction, so needs another one out of desperation, can only follow with the 85. So not bad darts here from Carignan, but when your opponents are finding ton 80s in their legs, it gets tough real quick. That's an excellent guide. If he can find that small correction, goes right instead of down and goes higher. So not the strongest follow-up, but he will leave himself 161 after 3 darts. So excellent overall here for Mr. Ricard. Carignan just wants to go next door. Would like to go inside the house here. Was able to find the correction, but wow. Elects to go downstairs to try and chase that triple 19. Not sure if that was the right play, but didn't work out in the end. And Joe Ricard will not be taking out the 161, so can only set up here and finds the big 5 on accident. You can tell by the reaction he certainly wanted a better dart than that. And he's able to find the triple, so 85 fired in there from Joe Ricard. Great leave, 76 remaining after 4, and Carignan all the way back at 277. Certainly a lot of work to be done here. And these are the types of legs that can get pretty discouraging pretty fast, knowing the checkout efficiency of Joe Ricard has been pretty good this entire season so far. Carignan going downstairs, not able to find the big trip 19, only able to find the single. And again, Carrigan's not playing a bad game, but still not within outshot territory. And Joe Ricard will leave himself 71 after finding that big 5. Maybe try to go for trip 13 there. Again, that dart is a little high, a little wide. So some under 100 sloppiness here from Joe Ricard. Able to find the big 17. So able to make the big correction with that third dart, leave himself 50, but still will have to burn a dart. He might have said something to Carignan there. Obviously not happy with his performance. Again, one of the things that we love here about the Worcester Premier League is that not only are these guys fierce competitors, these guys are great friends, both in darts, outside of darts. So even though these guys are pushing each other quite hard, they still want to see each other do well. And Joe Ricard recognizes the 60 from Carignan, but wants to get out in a hurry here. Will leave himself double 16, 2 darts at it. Just wide on that second dart, my goodness. The third dart pulls it inside, so Carignan almost took out a 116 in the past leg. Has a look for a very similar take, 118 remaining. Can he get it done here? Not able to find that first, so 12. Leave him 106. I believe 46 remaining now, so has to burn a dart. Will leave himself 32, so great leave from Mike Carignan. 88 found again, has been playing a very strong leg. And excuse me, caster math not correct. Leaving himself 30. That may or may not be right. I think they're discussing it. I'm not sure if my math is correct here. Caster math has not been my strong suit the entire season. So I think they're actually, maybe I was right. hey, you know, every dog has his day. If he corrects it to 32, we'll have to see in just a few short seconds here. That is really one of the all-time. Okay, so a little feather in my hat there. Hard-earned. The mental math was working, and all of that discussion and all of that fussing about for nothing there. And Carrigan's laughing because Joe just takes it out in the first dart.
Balboni Darts is the name in darts for Central Massachusetts and beyond. From dart sets and boards to accessories and apparel, they're the one-stop shop for any player looking to stock up or upgrade. Whether you're stepping up to the line for the first time or competing for trophies and checks, Balboni Darts is the store that the champion selects.
On his visit, so tough darts there, but Carignan not playing a bad game, just needs to find a little bit of luck here on this red section of the 20s. Needs to drop it a little lower. Okay, maybe not that low, Mike, a little bit higher now. And not able to find the big ton, so tough visit there from Carignan. 60, still not bad, but may not be enough compared to what Joe might be able to find here. First dart might be a blocker. Who am I kidding? Joe always finds a way, and 2 darts in there just to silence the crowd. 140. Great lead off there from Joe Ricard, and Carignan again under pressure. Needs to find these big ton-plus visits if he wants to keep pace down the board. That might be a tough blocker. Not able to go over the fence, so 43, unlucky. Let's see if Joe can keep the pressure on. First dart goes wide, pushes it out into the ones, and that might be 2 pushes there, so opportunity now for Carignan to try and scratch his way back into this leg. One of the things that I have noticed so far is that Carignan is not pushing his darts nearly as much as he was last week. He's finding a nice steady release on his throw. Of course, as soon as I say that, I curse Mike to just push it out into the one, but he's able to find that big correction with that third dart into that triple 20 segment. So 81 found there. It certainly seems like the arm is working a little bit better this week for Carignan. He was experiencing some horrendous pushes last week, but he seems to have sorted it out. We'll have to see if this trend continues as the night goes on here for Mike Carignan. Joe Ricard, 294. So well within reach of Mike Carignan as he lines up here. First dart. Excellent guide. Wants to guide these next 2 off of that. Wrong way. Can he find the correction? And I don't think you could put those darts on a tighter grouping, only finding the 60. Seems like it did deflect off the flight, but deflected the wrong way. And now Joe looking to try and punish, but that second dart might be awkward. And again, it is. Joe is one of those players who will try and force his way into that trip 20 segment, regardless of what the first 2 darts look like. I feel like we've seen him so very rarely go downstairs if he feels like he can see a little bit of red from the Aki. So Carignan not able to find that ton. Pushing out into the 45, so not a great visit. Still in front, though, but still not a comfortable margin. And Joe finding the 1 segment well above, so corrections needed here. Not able to find the correction. He's still behind Carignan, who is still looking for an opportunity now to really drop himself into the outshot territory. Leave himself something nice here. Anything past a ton will be quite comfortable. 192 remaining now, 172 remaining now, so needs at least 1 more. Able to grab that 60 to put him down in outshot territory just by a hair. But now the opportunity for Joe Ricard to set himself up for something better. And this is really the significance of these guys shooting in the 70-plus average range is not only getting into outshot territory, but really getting down where, okay, you're not having to worry about, ton 30 plus. You're only having to worry about single into 1 triple into a double, Not having to think too hard, not having to worry too much about what your combination's actually going to look like. Able to find 80 there, so probably going to go to the 12s. Looks like he might have found a trip 12, might have found a 5. Not sure what it looks like. Able to find the 92 just in the corner there. My goodness. So Carignan with an excellent lead, but Joe Ricard 110. This is gettable. And Joe looking to certainly prove it so. 90 needed now. Not able to grab that trip 20, so Carignan is coming back. And looks like a ugly third dart there, finding the 45. So 95 scored for Joe, leaving 15. Carignan opportunities now. Really doesn't want to leave it for Joe to try and clean up the 15. Wants to get it out here. Able to find that first dart. Great guide here. 2 darts at it now. And just calamity. Busts it instead. Second dart pushes out into the 1 segment, so everything going wrong for Carignan. So unfortunate. And Joe Ricard looking to, well, be the beneficiary of that misfortune. Double 4 needed. Needs to bring it down. And he brings it well inside, so Carignan will have another crack at it. Can he get it done? You have to feel for at least the confidence for Carignan here. Needs to find this. Needs it to go. Plenty of space now. 2 darts at double 20. Well high. Needs to make that critical correction. And he nails it with that third dart. Great darts there from Mike Carignan. I believe the second dart hit the number ring. So right when he needed it most, he's able to find that big double. Extends the set out now to a 4th leg. Carignan doing very well to keep it well within the boundary range here of averages. Not exactly keeping pace with Joe, who's averaging just about 72, but Carrigan's there. He can most certainly get the job done here if he can continue to find big visits, big darts. Needs to find a dart just ever so slightly above this one. Pushes it well high, and that's such an unfortunate block. I really wonder why these guys don't move down to the trip 19, even across the trip 18, when that first dart is right under that wire. I feel like it might be better just to try maybe get lucky on another segment, but we throw so often at the 20s that, why not just keep it going? Even a big 20 is certainly points, but we'll never know when we need more. Mike Carignan looking to, put 2 more in there. Great first dart from Mike. Second dart, I think, might be in the trip 5. Unlucky. And the third dart high, so I think 95 fired in there from Mike Carignan. Second dart just barely deflecting out into the left. Joe Ricard under pressure. These guys are neck and neck down the line here. First dart is just barely in there. Second dart, I believe, is just high. Might be a ton 80, might be a ton 40. And another ton 80 is found here for Joe Ricard. Finding 2 in this match already. Great darts on display already. Now Carignan has to find the big follow. Wants at minimum a ton, but would love a ton 40 if he can put another one in there. Only able to find the ton, but still, regardless, that's a great visit there from Mike. Joe still not at an out. Carignan has to find a ton plus if he wants to leave himself an out on the next visit, but Joe for great first dart. Second dart, he gets rid of the 5, so that's not terrible. And certainly not what he wanted at all, but second dart still not bad. Leaves himself 120, and I believe that leaves himself 100. See, that's easy caster math, folks. That's lovely stuff. I could do that type of math all day long. And now Mike Carignan needs a ton, minimum, to leave himself a chance here. Needs to find the middle, thinking about it. And not able to find the trip 17 that he was hunting. So 57 fired in, still well outside outshot range. And Joe Ricard now, ton needed. May go double-double. We've seen a lot of guys do this. And, that's a disaster of a dart as it finds its way into the big 1 segment. Unfortunate. And only able to grab a single 19, So we've seen Joe struggle a little bit with setting up, but again, when he doesn't have to worry about his opponent coming back to take the leg, you can just kick your feet up, relax, actually enjoy the game. Sometimes this game is stressful, and sometimes, hey, when your opponent's not on a finish, you can just relax, take a breather, think about what you want to do. You can go 10 double bull here if you really wanted to style on him. Of course, that would not be recommended, but Joe finding the first dart, 2 darts at double 20. Slight correction needed now, my goodness, and able to bank it off that second dart. Joe Ricard taking the first set here against Mike Carignan with a 74.07 set average. So Joe Ricard, he knows that Tom Curtin is absent, and he is coming for second place. And that guaranteed bye in the playoffs, Joe not messing around at all. And finds the big ton, so Joe doing so well to lead off with the solid ton. And those types of darts, those types of visits will do you so many favors. If your opponent cannot follow you in the great chase down the 501 ladder. Carignan looking to drop a third one in there, finds the third one in the 1 segment, so unfortunate. Nick in the chat says, love the show as always. Been lurking the whole season while setting up for the CSC. Nick, thank you so much for tuning in. Certainly enjoyed watching the CSC myself. You guys with all of your soft tip stuff is just crazy. Take a quick break here just to comment on some of the soft tip stuff that I've been watching. Ram Guevara Jr., my goodness, that guy is so nasty. With soft tip darts, I certainly hope to see him in person at a tournament one of these days. Of course, I don't really get to travel that much, but maybe one of these days in the future. Nick, I would love to see you as well. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. Jumping back in the game here, Mike Carignan not happy with that 45. Joe Ricard sitting at 360. So not a stellar leg from both guys so far, but still plenty of space here in this second set. We'll have to see how this develops. Todd saying shoot well. Todd, thank you so much for your support this season. So the support that you have given us and that T-Up has given us has made this, well, it's made it all possible here. Mike Carignan looking to try and make a 180 possible with that first dart. Second dart just not cooperating. Great 140 regardless, able to find a little bit of space in between those 2 darts. My goodness, Mike with the eagle eye finding that space. And oh my goodness, Joe being the Grim Reaper looking to follow up with a big 180 and not able to grab it, but the ton 40 tit for tat for Joe Ricard. Great darts regardless, even puts a smile on Carignan's face. But as I was saying, certainly appreciate all the support that T-Up has given us and really gives to, well, the entire darting community here in central Massachusetts. We appreciate it. Mike able to only find 55, so pushing his way down the line, but not at the pace that is more or less required. Joe Ricard 179, not electing to start on the 19s. It might be a interesting visit here if Joe is just not able to put that third dart together. Only finding breakfast, bacon and eggs this late at night. Curious choice, as usual, for Joe Ricard. But he's able to get down to 153, so still within range, but a low percentage shot. And now Carignan more or less scrambling to try and get into range himself. And is able to secure that big third dart. So it was looking like, just not a great visit at all from Carignan. He's really able to find that third dart and make it all possible. 144 remaining now from Mike. Joe 153, able to find the first dart. Not able to grab the trip 19, so that would have been ridiculous if he was able to find that, folks. That would have been nuts. But now Mike will be coming back for a 144 look. He will be looking to convert into a 144 take. It all comes down to Mike finding this first dart, finding his focus, telling himself that he can do it. Come on, Mike. 144. It's light work. It ain't no thing. Lining up for it now. Not able to find that first dart, just on the wrong side of the wire. So unfortunate. 2 in there, and we might be seeing the ugliest of breakfasts ever conceived on a dartboard. 26. That is tough, and that is hard. And now Joe Ricard looking to clean up this 36. Finds trip 10, so up to double 18. And he's able to find it in 2. Bang, bang. Darts there from Joe Ricard, able to lock that in.
Since 2014, U.S. Sports and Apparel has been helping teams, companies, and organizations look their best. From embroidered polos to customized uniforms and fan gear, they have the expertise and the people to do it all. Their catalog includes spiritwear, athletic equipment, and promotional items. From mugs and golf balls to jackets and hoodies, everything is branded to your specifications. For gear that works as hard as you do, trust in U.S. Sports and Apparel to get the job done right.
And now he is 2 legs away. I love the reactions between these two guys. It's so funny to watch them. But now Joe is 2 legs away from getting past Carignan and getting into the semifinals here in Week 7. Now Carignan looking just to get off with a steady 60, able to do so. Joe Ricard might be enjoying the other game that's going on just to the left of him. Of course, I'll have to actually go over to my match center, see the updates. Looks like Mark Rudge is leading Justin Burke 1-0. And Joe not really able to get off with anything strong here, only able to lead off the line with 25. So unfortunate. When you walk into a diner and you can't even afford bacon and eggs, let alone a cup of coffee, that's tough, especially when it gets cold. It's really cold in the mornings here. Central Massachusetts, it's starting to get pretty chilly. That breakfast is, well, it's important. You need to warm up. And Carignan only able to find 45. So, okay, well, Joe Ricard leads off with the stinker of 25, but Carignan is still well within reach now. If Joe can find at least 1 or 2 triples, going to stay there. And maybe he might be running out of gas, not even able to find the switch over to trip 18. So, more opportunities now for Carignan to just take a breath, focus, relax, become zen, become one with his darts, and really start blowing up this red bit. And again, we've seen this before where that first dart, second dart just blocks the bed, and it's not able to get over the fence there with that third dart. Again, it might be better in that situation just to go on to a different segment, because it's one thing to be above and you can kind of arc the dart in there. It's another thing to have it play defense more or less, and Joe able to find the big ton, solid darts, dropping his score down to 318. So now Carignan, who was leading off in this leg, now finds himself behind 355. He needs to try and put these darts, well, one more in there would solve a lot of his problems, at least for the moment. Not able to grab the ton 40, only able to grab the ton. But still a great visit regardless from Mike Carignan. Joe Ricard now looking to catch back up. And we've seen this from a lot of guys this season where one guy hits a ton, one guy finds a good visit, the other guy fires back with a ton plus. And Joe able to do so, 218 now. Mike Carignan, 255. Cannot afford to slow down at all. Wants to make the correction up if he can. He's just more or less walking the dog in there, wants to walk it home, and he does walk the dog home. My goodness, ton fired. Take that dog for a walk, Mike. My goodness, able to leave himself 155. Solid. And now Joe Ricard, 218, looking to get himself within range. Wants another one of those. And he will leave himself an out. So now Mike Carignan, low percentage shot. Joe Ricard sitting all the way back on 160 as well. So it's not going to be easy for either guy here. But Joe with arguably the easier of the two. Mike not able to find the first dart in the combination. Second dart is found. Obviously would have loved to trade. But he will be switching now unless he's feeling adventurous and wants to stay on it. I think he second-guessed himself. And he only is able to find, I think, 9 with that third dart right in between. I believe he actually, right in the corner of that 333. So leaving himself 66. Still a great visit. And Joe Ricard, well, that is a poor first dart. Well outside. And the second dart just, it's all falling apart here for Joe as he tries to clean up these first two. Not able to find anything really to salvage it. So with 160 remaining, only able to find 26 to leave him 134. Numbers everywhere. Mike Carignan needs 66. Able to find the first dart in that trip 10, so double 18. Didn't go quite as easily as Joe made it look, but still a dart for it and can't find it. So now having to rely on mistakes. Joe Ricard, 1, 3, 4. We've seen him take out some monster numbers. And this would be included in that list, and it won't go, unfortunately, now. Joe looking to try and make it happen with that third. Is able to find that third in there for 94 scored. So he will leave himself 40. Carignan, do or die visit here. Cannot afford to leave Joe his favorite double. Wants it now. It's a great guide if he can find the line, find the correction. Not go on an adventure, needs to bring it home. And he's just on the wrong side of the wire. Tough darts there for Carignan. Wow. Now Joe Ricard with his favorite double 20. Excuse me, going down to double 10 now. And are we going to see some double trouble? Yes, we are. He pulls it inside by a millimeter, if that. So Carignan, who thought he was more or less done and dusted, is now coming back for another look. Needs to focus. Find the double 18. Now across the double 9, getting awkward. Needs to bring it home. And some double trouble from both guys here. Carignan looking deflated after that third dart. Finds its way into the big 9. He will have to burn a dart on the next visit if Joe is unable to find 10. 2 darts remaining. The third dart needs to correct. And it looks like both guys struggling here in the back half of this leg. And this is very common with a lot of darts players. Able to find double 20. Double 16, but when it gets into the dog days here of these legs, it gets hard real quick. And he's able to find the double 4, make it look easy. Carignan evening up this set. 1 leg apiece. Again, not satisfied with how that went down, but sometimes you can't be choosy when you're just trying to get out of a leg with a dub. And Joe looking to rock it off with a big 180. Only able to find the 140, but still a great way to get going. Solid stuff there from Joe. And now Mike Carignan under immediate pressure. And this is what I was talking about in the previous leg, where if you can just get going with a ton plus every time, really get into the head of your opponent that you're like, you know what? I'm going to get off with a solid score every single time. You have to keep pace. You have to keep up. You just put that pressure on the opponent right from the start. And the 41, not going to do it here for Carignan. Joe able to take at least one breath before he lines up. And Carrigan's going to be sweating bullets in the background if you guys can see him. Joe able to keep this pressure on. Not able to find another ton 40, but able to find the ton. And now Carignan, look at the score difference already. 460 to 261. Really needs some help from his darts. If he can implore them to find their way into that red bit. The second dart was right there. And looks like he wanted to go down to find that trip 19. Didn't like the line on that triple 20, but Carignan more or less looking defeated. Not able to walk away with any triple, and Joe looking to just keep the pressure going. Scoring for fun, it seems. The big ton 40 is found. So Joe, 121 after 3. This is his best leg of the night so far. Are we going to see a 12-dart leg here from Joe? Mike Carignan really got a feel for him. When your opponent's playing this well, there's nothing more that you can do than hope and pray. And only able to find 30, so might already be thinking about the next leg. Joe Ricard. This would be a hold of throw if he can lock down this 121. But man, what a spectacular hold it would be. Not able to find the first dart. Unfortunate. 112 remaining, I believe. 52 remaining. He's able to, not able to find that third dart. So he was going for double 20, maybe, not sure, judging from the way that dart landed in the board. All these guys laughing, Mike giving him just a lot of trouble about that one. But, you know, what can you do? This is a game. You're supposed to have fun from time to time. And Carignan looking like he's turning it on just a little too late here. Able to find the ton, but his race, at least in this leg, might have already been run. 52 remaining now for Joe Ricard, 12 or 20. Pick your destiny. And now he's going downstairs to double 16. Missing it by a hair's width. And not able to find the correction, but still no pressure coming from Mike Carignan all the way back on 287. So Joe, not worrying just yet. But these are the types of visits that start to get into your head, especially as you move on through the later rounds of any event, any tournament. If you're not able to find them, and that's a humongous round of 9 here from Mike Carignan. Big round of 9. Unlucky there from Mike. But now Joe Ricard, double 8, does not want to faff about here, and that's a hair's width again. Going inside almost the same distance across the double 4. And here we go. Double trouble again for Joe. Carignan not doing himself any favors, 278. Nowhere within reach. But, as I was saying, as you face, again, stronger and stronger opponents, and you're not able to take these more or less laid-up shots, you really have to do well to not let yourself focus on those opportunities lost, opportunities missed. Just need to keep yourself focused on what lies in front of you. And Joe now going down to double 2. And he's able to find it with that second dart. So while he was rounding the houses, he was able to eventually get out of that leg. And now Joe Ricard is 1 leg away from tying Tom Curtin for second place. I'm not sure what the tiebreakers come down to because I don't have all the stats in front of me. But may have the opportunity to knock him out of second place and push Tom down into third. Mike able to lead off with a very strong ton here, so great darts there from Mike Carignan. The scoreboard update looks like Rudge and Justin are still at 1 set in favor of Rudge to 0. We'll have to see how that match develops. Joe able to lead off with a really good score as well. Not quite as good as Mike Carignan, but you know what? Keeping pace, 404, score not found. 401 now remaining for Mike Carignan. And those first 2 darts are a little low. Might be playing some defense here. Needs to be careful. He's able to get over the fence, so 2 tons from Mike Carignan. Doing very well now to find that big power scoring that's more or less been absent so far. And here comes Joe. Not able to find that second one, but he's able to grab it with the third. So the power scoring arriving for both gentlemen in force. Who is going to be able to hold their nerve, keep the consistency? That's a great first start. Great guide there from Mike. Wants to go the other way, but still a beautiful marker. And is able to find the third, so 3 tons in a row now from Mike. Heavy lifting, heavy duty from Mike Carignan. And 264 now for Joe. A ton here will leave him an out, so he will be hunting for it. Can he grab it? No, he cannot, so 204 remaining. Mike, opportunity now to have a look, or excuse me, get down to a look first. Big opportunity missed, actually, for Joe. Even a 164, as improbable as it may be, it's still a chance. It's still a chance. That's how a lot of these guys think. They want to give themselves as many chances as possible throughout the match, and that is, unfortunately, a chance blown here as Mike Carignan, 26, will leave him hanging on a 175. So 204 now for Joe. Wants to get down to something a lot more comfortable than ton 30 plus. Second dart is going to do him a lot of favors here. Wants at least another one. Not able to grab it, but will leave himself 104. So now the pressure really all comes down to Mike. If he's able to find a big visit here, really able to pressure Joe's throw in the coming visit, to see if he can find the second one that's he knows that's a tough one. He's not able to find the 19, so Joe Ricard, he was challenged down the line here, but with Carignan not even coming down to a high ton plus out, looking to clean up here. 86 remaining. Might stay there, actually, just to avoid messing about, just keep the consistency, and he will leave himself 50. So not the right way to play, but in a situation like that, when your opponent is still marooned, you more or less get afforded those chances here. Carignan trying to make the corrections needed, trying to get down to some serious pressure, and it looks like Carrigan's race in the regular season here might have been run. This is his last chance. If Joe misses 2 darts at double 16, I don't think he's going to miss. Up to double 8. And he's able to not pin it. Oh, my goodness. Both guys in shock that third dart was not there. And now Carignan outside 1-3-5 opportunity to even up the set. 1:10 remaining. Oh my goodness, the second dart was so close. Wrong side of the wire. He wanted 60 to leave the double bowl. But the second dart just did not cooperate. And Joe Ricard, double 8, able to find it with the first dart. So ladies and gentlemen, Joe Ricard has taken out Mike Carignan here, finding critical 2 points.
Looking for a way to support the Worcester Premier League directly? Check out our coffee page. Every dollar donated goes right back into the league, helping us cover operations and build a bigger prize pool for the players. Your support makes it possible for us to keep the WPL growing season after season. Once again, your donation helps us keep the competition thriving and the darts flying. Visit our page at coffee.com/WPL darts to make a contribution today.